Warning, these videos contain mature and psychological themes. The stories are often inspired by real events, folklore, or historical cases, but are fictionalized and dramatized for entertainment purposes. No graphic content is shown. Viewer discretion is advised.
I can remember it now. It was a February morning. Cold, grey, with that kind of damp wind that seeps into your bones. Typical UK weather, really. I was filling in as a substitute teacher in Broadhaven Primary School. In Pembrokeshire, I was there for a few weeks. Lovely school, lovely kids, easy work for me. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was on playground duty, tugging my coat tight with one hand and clutching a lukewarm cup of coffee in the other. The sky was low, and it looked like a storm was brewing. There was a distant squeak from the swing set that cut through the air, and the children were shouting, screaming, running around, decompressing, you know? After trying to sit still in the classroom, who could blame them? I know the feeling. I, too, was young once upon a time, if you can believe that. I loved watching how energetic they were. But at the same time, it was almost exhausting just to look at. But their laughter, it was slicing through an odd silence. Something didn't sit right with me that day. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I could feel it. After a few minutes of this strange intuition, a truly ominous feeling settled over the playground. No wind, no birds, just pressure in the air. Looking back now, I remember a sudden and overwhelming sense of impending doom. And as I turned my head towards a section of the playground, a field, I saw a tight group of pupils gathered by the fence, unmoving. That's when young Amy Jones sprinted towards me, pale-faced, mouth open like the words couldn't quite form. She said,
"Mr. Griffiths, please come quickly. There's something in the trees."
Pointing with a trembling hand, I walked over, half expecting to see a wounded animal or maybe even a lesson on life and death. And what comes next? Decomposition. Tough lessons to learn at that age, I know. But nature's classroom, it can be unforgiving. But not even I was prepared for what I saw when I got there. What I saw made even my legs stiffen. I lost my breath. I felt an overwhelming urge to run, but I had to stay calm. For the children, it was right there, whatever it was. Just past the trees stood a metallic craft of some sort. Dull silver, but somehow glimmering at the same time. Roughly the size of a minivan, smooth as glass, hovering inches above the ground. No wings, no rotors. It just hung there, utterly still, like it was waiting. There was a low hum in the air. I felt it sending vibrations through my entire body. My brain throbbed with pressure and my eyes felt like they were shaking ever so slightly in my skull. As I stepped in front of the children, I saw something tall, impossibly tall. It stepped out from the bush behind the craft, humanoid, but wrong. Slender, wearing what looked like a silver suit, clinging to its form like a second skin. The children gasped behind me. I raised a hand instinctively to try and shield the children, but I couldn't take my eyes off it. Its head was too large, its arms too long. I couldn't see eyes, just a black visor that somehow still felt like it was watching us as much as we were watching it. The air thickened again. I felt it inside me, a low-frequency hum vibrate in my chest. It made me feel sick. One of the girls behind me, she started to cry, but the rest of the kids were just frozen with fear. Then the figure turned and stepped slowly towards the craft. Its walk was even unsettling. It was almost like its joints were stiff and its limbs were jaggedly clicking into place as it moved. But it stopped for a split second before entering the doorway, and it turned its head towards us all. I looked into the black, reflected visor, expecting to see the whole playground behind me, the fence, the kids, the school, but there was nothing. Just me, standing in a void. That's all I could see in its reflection. As I tried to figure out how this could be, its head tilted slowly towards one side. I couldn't move, frozen with fear until the sound of the door mechanism knocked me out of my trance. That thing, it looked back towards the craft and stepped inside. The door closed behind it. A red light appeared on top of the dome, and a deep rumble began to grow. A crescendo of dread before a sudden sonic boom deafened us all. Everyone covered their ears. There was screaming all around as the craft shot into the sky at an impossible speed, and we all stood there, stunned. I noticed the natural sounds began to return around me. Birds started to sing again, but even they sounded scared. The jarring sound of the playground bell shook us into movement. We all raced to get inside the school. But here's the thing. The hour-long break time had only just begun. How was it already over? I tried to make sense of it all, but there was no point. A secret military experiment? A prank? No way. The dread in my stomach told me the truth. This wasn't human. This was not something from here. Now, once we all got back inside the school, the children were split up and questioned. They were all asked individually to draw what they saw. And here's the thing. They all drew nearly identical drawings, a cigar-shaped craft, a tall silver man. They all explained a deep, unsettling hum that filled them with dread. Everyone felt it, including me. I was eager to get home that day, to get far away from that school. But later that night, I had the urge to return. Yes, I returned to the field, alone. Why? Curiosity, madness. Maybe I wanted to convince myself it had never happened. But the grass where it was hovering earlier that day was scorched black, and the birds still sounded off. Look, I don't know what happened that that day, and I don't think I'll ever understand. I don't think any of us will. It wasn't long after that incident that I quit my job as a substitute teacher. Couldn't stand being in that place any longer. Bad energy. Over the next few weeks, many locals of that town reported similar encounters. I remember seeing stories all over the news about it. Even the Military of Defense investigated, but the case still remains open. So, what do you think? Was this truly an alien encounter? Or some kind of mass hysteria? And if it is true, what did they want? And why the hell could I only see my reflection when that thing was looking at us all? I need to know the truth, so please, let's discuss.